So today we've got a bit of a treat for you. We're going to be following the Conquistador Trail from the town of Riobamba all the way to the edge of our concession block, the town of Macas in the southeastern part of Ecuador. Now, we're going to be following the route that's laid out in the document from 1627, 1628 that I found in the Vatican several years ago. So I think you'll find it very instructive and maybe even a little bit exciting. Several years ago, I located a book in the manuscript section of the Vatican Library called The Compendium and Description of the West Indies by Antonio Vasquez de Espinosa. And he was a Carmelite priest who lived in the New World for 22 years. He wrote this book in 1627 and 1628. And on one of the pages, astoundingly, there is a description how to get to Sevilla de Oro. It's kind of like having a treasure map, but it's a pretty good description how to get there from the town of Riobamba. And so today we're going to talk about following the Conquistador Trail all the way from Riobamba to the present-day town of Macas, which is right on the edge of our concessions. When I last visited the Archive of the Indies in Seville in Spain, they had an exhibition on at the time of images of pages from the book, very famous book by Guamán Poma de Ayala from 1615. And there is an illustration of the town of Riobamba. In the center of the town is a little church, and this church is the Iglesia de Balvanera. It is the oldest church in the country of Ecuador. It was built in 1534. Now, the present church was destroyed actually by an earthquake in 1797 and then rebuilt in 1800. But if you look at the facade of the church pretty carefully, you can see a whole bunch of design elements, and it's pretty obvious that they took the material from the ruins of the first church and just incorporated it in the facade of the newer church. Still, it is very, very old for Ecuador. So it's really quite interesting. If you drive to Macas today from the town of Riobamba, you follow the route of the conquistadors. People would just follow the mountain passes, and what was probably originally a donkey trail is now a paved highway. So diverting off the Camino Real, the Royal Road, up to the two lakes called the Atillo Lakes, on the Paramo called Sofia. Paramo is a moorland area of high cloud cover, high altitude plants. They're all rather stunted because of the altitude. So from the most eastern of these lakes emerges the Rio Upano, and that goes all the way down to Macas. So it's an interesting feeling following this route and knowing that the conquistadors were here almost 400 years ago, and really we're just walking in their footsteps all the way to the town of Macas.